Joe Biden has chosen Senator Kamala Harris as his running mate. For more, our North America correspondent David Lipson joins us now from Washington. David, some might say it was a safe choice for Joe Biden.
Yeah, some would certainly say that. Of course, Kamala Harris has been pretty heavily vetted through her time in the public eye, a long period of time as a prosecutor in California, as, of course, Attorney General in California, more recently as a senator here in Washington. And she really gained a pretty fierce reputation for her grillings of Trump administration appointees. And of course, she ran herself in the primaries. She dropped out in December last year amid a good deal, you'd have to say, of campaign dysfunction and a campaign that really just wasn't firing. But ultimately, a lot of mud was thrown at her and not a lot of it stuck. So she's a pretty safe pair of hands in that sense, but also in the fact that she's young. She's 55 years old, and Joe Biden, of course, will be 78 years old in November. So he has indeed himself called himself a transition candidate. So this is an historic pick for many reasons on its own, because she's the first woman of colour to be selected on any major party's ticket in the position of a vice presidential candidate. But it could be even more historic in the future, because she will be very much seen as sort of a top pick in the box seat, if you like, to be the leader of the Democratic Party and possibly even a future president, depending on how long Joe Biden sticks around, if indeed he beats Donald Trump in November.
Yeah, still lots of ifs. Very instructive that Joe Biden has referred to Kamala Harris as being able to step into the presidency at a moment's notice in his big announcement this morning. As you say as well, David, she's nationally known, care of her high-profile role in trying to seek the Democratic nomination at the start of this year. But also, I guess, a safe choice, because one of the key attack points for the Republicans has been, well, Joe Biden, you can't trust him. He's in the thrall of the left wing of the Democratic Party. He's hostage to the progressives, whereas Kamala Harris is she's much more moderate on that Democratic Party spectrum.
Yeah, absolutely. And this has been a real balancing act for Joe Biden, because he himself, as you know, is a moderate candidate. Kamala Harris is not loved by some on the left because of her history as a prosecutor and attorney general. Many that have taken to the streets since the killing of George Floyd see her as part of the problem, part of the old system that they're trying to overturn. For example, back in 2009, she in her book, I believe it was, called for more police to be on the streets. Well, ever since the Black Lives Matter protests have erupted, she has taken a very different position and indeed has been very much pushing hard for police reform across the board. But you know, it was seen as something of a risk by some to choose another moderate candidate when there were so many Democrats on that were further left than Joe Biden, for example, those that supported Elizabeth Warren or Bernie Sanders, that the party was somewhat concerned about whether they would come out to vote if someone like Kamala Harris was on the ticket with Joe Biden as well. So we'll wait and see how all that falls, of course, in November.
Hey, I tell you what, I've got a date in October that I'm already looking forward to, the first VP debate, October the 7th, Pence v Harris. I want to make sure we're talking to you the next day, Lippo.
Yeah, it will be interesting. They're both pretty good performers, you know, when it comes to being on stage, and yeah, that will be a fiery one.
So lockdown has come to this, Lisa Miller, for you. You're waiting for a vice presidential debate.
I'm a sucker for it. Hey, David, thank you very much.